And I'm very happy to continue with our next keynote speaker. So, Andreas Blind, Director Segments and Partnership at ChargePoint, will be talking about the mass adoption blueprint, how platform maturity will enable industry-wide success. So please welcome on stage again, Andreas.
I love my job, I have to tell you this. I absolutely adore working in this industry. I would love to work my job. Why? I love working with my team. I work with a super team of talented, clever, intelligent people who deliver solutions for EV charging in more than 30 countries, believe it or not. I also love working in this industry because of the speed that we are moving with. I come from a machinery background, and the inventions that I made 15 years ago, some haven't been realized today because it's just innovating so slowly in comparison to what we do here. And we also all share a common goal, which means we want to enable future mobility in electric. We want our children to be able to drive cars, our grandchildren to drive cars. And isn't that something to get up out of bed every single day in the morning? And at ChargePoint, to work at ChargePoint also is great fun because we are the longest standing and certainly the oldest player in this industry. Founded 2007 when electric cars were still a total illusion for many. Moved to Europe in 2015 and acquired the Europe's leading platform for CPMS, Be Energized, in 2020. And today we are hosting on our platforms 363,000 ports, plus several 100,000 ports at home chargers that are additionally to these 363,000. And more than a dozen OEMs are trusting our systems. And this brings me to a very important point. Often misrepresented, often misunderstood, ChargePoint is never a CPO. We are never a CPO, otherwise I wouldn't be standing up here giving a keynote. I would be sitting down there listening to somebody who speaks about how to make CPOs. We are a solution provider, and we make CPOs, we make MSPs, and that's what we do for a living. And we do this by providing platforms, and these have to develop over time. And we have 5 points that we'd like to show how we ensure that our platforms mature and how they mature so that we can serve our customers best. And I'll go through these one by one in my presentation. We talk about foundations, about products, about freedom of choice, it's hugely important. We talk about strategic enhancements of elements and entire platforms. And finally, iteration. You can never rest on your laurels, you always have to innovate. And as I said before, I love the speed with which we are actually innovating in this business. Foundations first. ChargePoint knows a lot about platforms because when we started, nothing in charging existed. Nothing. So everything we did, we had to reinvent. So we are today the only provider in this industry who provides an entire platform from the charger through the CPMS into an app with every single use case covered. And what it means also means that we have experience in every single one of those points. So that's a great differentiator, again, against a lot of our competition. We know how to build chargers, we know how to connect them to your CPMS, we know both sides of that equation, and then we know how to build an app, how to serve drivers, and how to work through all the problems it brings when you are actually serving the drivers as a CPMS. And all of this now, as we have this foundation, we offer, of course, in white label. And we are leveraging the experience that we have in every one of these segments. Yeah? So when people connect their third-party hardware to our CPMS, we know how that works with our own hardware and, of course, with any third-party hardware, because that is so important. Hardware agnostic. And then our customers also connect their own apps. They write their own apps. They connect them via our APIs. And again, we have this huge amount of experience. and the holistic approach that we offer where needed. Some customers need more services, parts of what we're offering, and some customers come in with a full white label necessity. And they build on top of our software the actual customer experience. From this technology that we're offering, this broad platform going all the way from a charger to an app, going from your own from third-party chargers through the CPMS to your own app and so on, we are defining certain products. And as an example, we are proud to provide an app which at the beginning of our business was a necessity because we had to give our customers, our CPO customers, the possibility that they give access to their infrastructure to drivers. So that's why we developed the app. It has never been an actual business case for us. It was a necessity. But because we have this experience and in the app also, we are now in a position to offer this, and 14 OEMs are actually using our app as in-dash experience. We have put a few logos in there, and so Porsche, Mercedes, General Motors, Toyota, just to name a few. And also, of course, fuel card providers. So leveraging the experience and the openness of the system to bring in your own technology, your own driver experience. And I'm very proud to announce that we are going to launch a fully revamped app in the next month, first in the United States and then in Europe. It's going to be a totally new experience for a great place to charge anywhere in the world. So after we gone from defining this product, and there are multiple examples, I've just taken out this one. Our customers very often make charging part of their business. So as any entrepreneur, we have to give them the freedom of choice in as much aspects as possible. So all the elements that inhibit flexibility for our customers must be eliminated. And we're working actively at any time to do that. And the platform, of course, also allows at all times for a modular usage, because some customers might not need a certain functionality, so they don't necessarily have to use it. It's a very important point in everything that we do. As an example, credit card terminals. Payment by credit card on terminals has been a pain for everybody in this room for the last years. It made the life miserable for every CPO, and then, of course, also for the drivers. Why? The lack of defined protocols meant that there's just a mind-boggling number of combinations that you have to look at. Multitude of hardware on the terminal side, multitude of hardware on the charger side, and all these puzzling combinations. And the victims were the CPOs, and therefore also, of course, the drivers and the driver experience. So ChargePoint has addressed this in two ways. Number one, fully integrated credit card payment on our charging hardware. Unfortunately, PCI compliance and making all the payments through the integrated credit card reader requires, in this case, that the ChargePoint hardware and the ChargePoint software are combined, so we cannot give freedom. Therefore, but on the other hand, it's a fully turnkey system. The customer has no worry whatsoever, but the PCI compliance forces us to use those two elements together. But the second approach that you surely have heard about as well is the exact opposite. We have introduced the technology, and we've introduced the OCPI payment terminal protocol, where by using the correct protocol of combining a payment and a charge, which is simply OCPI, anything else is just patchworking, and we are not in for patchworking. So now, anybody who integrates via OCPI, you have the freedom of choice on the hardware side with the charger, the freedom of choice on the hardware side on the credit card terminal. And this allows you as a CPO to create your charging experience for the driver on top of your payment service provider. Again, freedom is so important because as an entrepreneur, you need to keep your freedom. I'm also very proud to say that our largest retail customer is rolling out this technology as we speak to thousands and thousands of sites all over Europe. And other players, competitors of ours, other players in the market, they're following suit. They're also integrating this protocol because it simply makes sense, and we cannot continue to work with patchworks because it is always on the back of our customers and the back of the drivers. As we have this platform, and in our case it goes all the way from hardware to the app, we now enhance strategically every single element of it. And those who have followed the news last week, we presented our totally new DC platform for DC chargers, ChargePoint Express. It was also a major part in our earnings call yesterday evening, where we can fit in a 30% more compact build, 30% more power, and therefore make it less expensive. And the entire thing, I'm not going into hardware details, my colleague has done this before me, but it's all scalable, it's all V2X ready, and when you combine it, of course, with the correct software, you have a game changer for the driver experience when it comes to DC charging. And finally, when we talk about the software, which is the key of everything that we do, here we have to think about the iterations of how we improve the software bit by bit. And the iterations basically address 4 major points. You have to address the learnings from the operations, bring all your experience into every single part of the platform. You have to adapt the platform to the commercial environment. Things are changing, they're changing rapidly, and we have to adapt, and that's what we do on a daily basis. We also have to future-proof for the new technical possibilities. Of course, we have to talk about V2X. Of course, we have to talk about plug and charge, about auto charge, all these things, and we address those on a daily basis. And then we have to combine the positives and drop the negatives. The German saying is alte Zöpfe abschneiden, cut off old lines, because some things that were developed at an earlier stage simply don't make sense anymore in this new environment. So we are doing this at this moment, and it's not only housekeeping, but it means reinventing and redeveloping the infrastructure, the IT infrastructure at any time. So it's crucial not to rest on the laurels, not to sit there and say this is all done, but we have to continue moving, we have to continue to make it modular. Of course, we are working on AI, possible structures on every single aspect of what I have told you today. And we have to provide the mature platform to the customers and to the industry in order to bridge the gap of which we have been speaking the last 2 days. I have been speaking a lot, you hear it in my voice. I apologize for my voice in this case, yeah. It also means that we have to continue to expand when we look at geographies. Yeah, every country in Europe and every country out of Europe has its own fiscalization, its own VAT. So our customers can also benefit from the fact that we are already present in 32 countries and build on top of what we have done their own charger experience. So provide the mature platform on every page, on every stage, so our customers can pick and choose and provide their driver experience. AI, I personally believe, is where EV charging was approximately 3 years ago. Yeah? They're now starting to really go into interoperability, combination of the systems. And EV charging is where telecom was approximately 15 years ago. So we see the blueprint of where this is going. Consumers and regulators demand mature services from the CPOs and the MSPs. We can no longer accept the failure rates that we've been talking about. We can no longer accept the things like cable cutting. We have to work against the fraud that's happening. So maturity is just the key word here. And the CPOs and the MSPs turn to us, the suppliers, to supply the basis for these systems, and of course, the freedom of choice. So to recap my blueprint, foundations first, large platform, huge technology from which you can choose and derive the products that our customers use for their day-to-day operation and to build their products and to build their charging experience. Design for freedom of choice, because that's what the market needs. Keep in mind that some players always will need a full service package. Of course, you can always design the full service out of the freedom of choice technology, which is what we do. Enhance strategically at the right time the right component of your platform. Today, the DC platform that we've presented. Later this year, the new software platform and the app. Finally, iteration and never rest on our laurels. I personally, and everybody in my team, will continue to wake up every single day to make this a reality. And you might have heard our CEO emphasize that a world-class software is a cornerstone for our business and every one of our customers' businesses. So this is something that we take very, very seriously. And I'm actually excited to announce that we're at a pivotal moment where we're going to prepare for our biggest software launch and our biggest software platform launch later this year. The deployment is due later this year, and you're going to hear a lot about it in the press. For those who like to learn about a little bit more, what we can say, we're proud to say and happy to tell you at our booth, which is C16 in the other hall, where please do come, visit us and speak to our team. We have solution engineers here, my sales team is here, we have people from the auto team here, we have people from the roaming team here, so I don't think there's any question that we cannot answer either here on stage or at my booth. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Andreas. Lot of cliffhangers today. A lot of come and visit us, and we only tell you when you visit us and when you go into our big announcement call. So, very exciting stuff. I want to start with a question that is sort of a little bit stepping back and having a look at the larger market. So I'm wondering, what are the biggest challenges that the CPOs have that they ask you to sort of adapt to? You know, you spoke about learnings, how you iterate quickly. Mm-hmm. So from the CPO side, what is it what you observe in the market? What are they challenged with?
So the one thing that of course is just reliability. Yeah. So our customers rely on our systems to be up and running and to be able to serve their customers. The second thing is scalability. One thing is our customers need to grow fast. They need to be able to on-ramp chargers very fast in a very organized manner, and the systems must provide for that. And the next thing is we are in a new phase of the market where we have a lot of consolidations. So CPOs buy networks, they buy other CPOs. CPOs go bankrupt and whatever, or charging software companies go bankrupt. So all of a sudden, you need to import, you have to migrate large infrastructures, and that's also a question of scalability that you have to take care of.
Very nice. I just want to say at this moment, so I already got a question from the audience, but please feel free to send your questions via the event app. So if you go into the app and you go to the session, you can supply questions, but you can also just raise your hand, and we have some mics in the room. So if there are any questions, please. I know it's still early in the morning, but please feel free to take this moment to ask your question directly. So the question from the audience is about pricing and price transparency. So you showed these nice panels from your DC chargers. So the question is, what role does price transparency at the charge points play for you, and how do you enable transparency sort of for all your customers to supply it at the station?
Ooh, that's a very, very long answer. I'll try to make it short. So let's start with the system as it's set up. CPO selling the session to the MSP, selling it to the driver. In that setup, we are only the systems provider. So whatever our customers provide as a price, and as a CPO and or as an MSP, that's the price that is shown to the driver. So we only give the weapons. We don't pull the trigger. So it's our customers' business. So they put the price in.
But the transparency, do you get it on the? Can I, as a customer, see it when I'm on the at the charge?
Yeah,
point?
that's the other part of the equation. That's the other equation of the basic equation. So our charging stations have screens, mostly, and so you can see the actual price that you're going to be charged when you charge at the charging station, and also our app is, as I said, not. It's not, we don't want to make money with our app. We just give access to charging stations. So we always display the CPO price in our app towards the driver.
So I can always see what the best deal would be. So, next question. In your presentation, you discussed part of platform maturity being preparation for new technologies and the easy integration. So, what do you envision the next wave of these technologies being?
I'm not going into AI. AI is everywhere, and it's in every part of what we do. What we're going to see, of course, is things like vehicle-to-grid. We are going to see flexible pricing. We're going to see more and more energy trading. So we're preparing the systems to have all these interfaces, because we are going to continue to focus what we do, and that is EV charging. And everything else will be solved by other systems interfacing into our software. And that's the approach that we're going. We just have to stay on the market to ensure that we provide the mechanisms that actually are necessary for EV charging. So, for example, when we talk about flexible pricing, or dynamic pricing rather, again, it's our customer who defines the trigger when he wants to change prices and where he wants to change the price to. It's not our job to predefined triggers, whether it's a spike in usage, whether it's a good price on the free market for electricity. They define the trigger. We just execute.
Implement it.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, so you were talking about learnings and iterating quickly. Can you give some examples of where you iterated and learned and adapted the system to suit the customer demands?
Yeah, this is happening every single day. We deploy software twice a day typically, so the iteration is going on. But what we're now doing is we are looking at every single element of the platform. We are redoing it in a way that we can combine it, that we can also make it easily portable from one cloud service to another. So there's a lot of things going on at any time, and iterations sometimes are small, and sometimes they're large. One thing that we're doing at the moment, the entire invoicing engine, or everything that's calculating the CDRs for our customers is redone because the circumstances have changed, so we have to iterate.
So that's also part of the big launch in the fall, or that's coming
that's an example of iteration. What's coming in launch is much bigger than.
Much bigger, okay. And otherwise you have 2 iterations, 2 software updates every day. That's remarkable. Well, if there are there any more questions from the audience? I don't see any hands. No. If there are no more questions, then thank you very much, Andreas, for the great talk. And feel free to find Andreas at his booth.